Yo, God, the thing goes grrrr, pop, pop, tap, tap, tap. Skinny kid, pop, pop, and the poop, poop, boom.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Tony Ferguson ain't fucking around. Yo, check this out. Tony Ferguson and Eddie Alvarez traded cheap shots on Twitter, and Tony Ferguson lit Eddie Alvarez up, if I must say. I don't even know who fucking tweeted first. This was at 3:45 a.m. Tony Ferguson wasn't fucking around. Yo, Eddie Alvarez woke up to this shit because Eddie Alvarez replied at 9:19 a.m. He like woke up like, what the fuck? Check this out. Tony Ferguson said, "My belt can hold more weight than yours ever could," at Eddie Alvarez. 10 straight and all bloodbaths. I'd make up titles too if I was sour from being KO'd by a featherweight in a title fight. At Dana White, "You hired a bunch of bitches. I beat them all. Hashtag defend or vacate, motherfucker." At Conor McGregor, oh my lord. That tweet is so golden. It's a little bit late. I mean, what he's referencing there to Eddie Alvarez, as we know Eddie Alvarez versus Justin Gaethje happened at UFC 218. They called that the most violent title. Even though it wasn't for a real title, they kind of made up their own title. Eddie Alvarez said, who cares? Belts don't mean anything anyways. Tony Ferguson just beat the ranked 7 guy and he got an interim title. So fuck it, we're going to call this the title for the most violent, the most violent of the UFC. And Eddie Alvarez won the fight versus Justin Gaethje, and now so he's got like his invisible belt over his shoulder, fucking flexing, talking about I'm, the UFC's most violent. Well, Tony Ferguson is saying, yeah, you can make up all the titles you want. You got knocked out by Conor McGregor. It is what it is. Eddie Alvarez responded and said, "I would rip your skinny body apart if I cared to fight you, but I don't care to fight you, so Merry Christmas, champ." With quote unquote calling him like a fucking fake champ. People don't respect that interim title, but I'll say one thing, yo. Yeah, Eddie Alvarez, in my opinion, Tony Ferguson is definitely the real champion. Why would you not want that fight? Why would you not want to fight Tony Ferguson? I mean, if you do beat Tony Ferguson, you get to Conor McGregor. Now, Eddie Alvarez, a fan actually asked Eddie Alvarez that question, like, I thought you were supposed to always go for the gold. Why would you not want to fight Tony Ferguson? And he's like, yeah, I want to go for the gold, not the fucking silver. Taking more shots at that interim belt. Yo, that's fucked up. If you take belts aside, let's say take away interim, real belt, just look at all the lightweights in the fucking UFC. If you just put stat for stat, record for record, resume for resume in the lightweight division, who should be the champion? That's fucking Tony Ferguson. So I mean, you can call Tony Ferguson a fake champ all you want, but Tony Ferguson he was almost scheduled to defend his interim belt before the real champion Conor McGregor has defended the lightweight belt he won over 12 months ago. So I mean, Eddie Alvarez can say Conor McGregor is the real champ, and that completely means Tony Ferguson can't be a champion. But that's not bullshit. That means there's never gonna be a lightweight champion until Conor McGregor fights again, according to that fucking argument. And I can't fucking rock with that, especially when Tony Ferguson is riding a 10-fight winning streak over the best lightweights in the world. Only lost one fight in the UFC, to my knowledge, to Michael Johnson, and that was before he started his 10-fight winning streak. He could have lost 2 fights in the UFC, but I'm pretty sure it's only one, and it was like his fucking UFC debut or something. Early in his UFC career, since then he's on a 10-fight winning streak with wins over elite lightweights. Most recently, Kevin Lee. Yeah, Kevin Lee was ranked 7, but whenever these guys fought, ranked number 1 was Conor McGregor as far as the champion. He was out fighting Floyd Mayweather. Ranked number 1 was Khabib. He was injured. Ranked number 2 was like Eddie Alvarez. He was scheduled to fight Justin Gaethje. Ranked number 4 was like Edson Barboza. He was injured. 5 was Nate Diaz. He wasn't fighting. There was nobody for Tony Ferguson to fucking fight besides Kevin Lee. All these other dudes were off doing something. So people try and say, how did he, the number 7th guy fight for the title? That's because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were not fucking up up for the challenge. Nobody could fight Tony Ferguson. Kevin Lee did. We saw how the fight went. Now Tony Ferguson's got the interim strap, and he's just sitting there waiting on Conor McGregor to get that real belt. It's not up to Tony Ferguson. It's not like Tony Ferguson's fucking ducking Conor McGregor. He's got no control over when he gets to fight for the real belt. So that's not on Tony Ferguson. I've said enough on this video. I did find this Twitter back and forth really interesting. I would love to see this fight. If you want to talk about, I mean, you can call it a fake belt, but I'm telling you, this would be a good fight for Eddie Alvarez's first defense of the UFC's most violent title, because Tony Ferguson ain't fucking lying. 10 straight, all bloodbaths. Tony Ferguson gets hit and hits back, but he also fucking choke your ass out down on the mat. With that being said, it is what it is. Fucking Snapdown City, I'm fucking with El Kukui. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out.
Boom, boom.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.